Welcome to our latest episode of The Grip Guys. One of the Grip Guys, Mr. Edgin Clay, is not present today, but that's okay because we are calling Finland to talk to Jesse Pynnonen and do a little King Kong of Grip prediction show. That contest is happening in 13 days. But before we do that, Jesse, first of all, I want to congratulate you on two things. Number one, great job yesterday, getting second place by only 1 point to Mr. Harry Talonen in the U.S. World Grip Championships in Hämeenlinna, Finland. And also congratulations on being one of the 7 select members invited to compete in the Arnold Classic, the Armlifting USA Arnold Classic Championships, held March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Columbus, Ohio, 2019. So congratulations times 2, Jesse.
Thanks so much. It's going like I'm so hyped for the Arnold, and losing to Harry Talonen by just 1 point doesn't bother me at all, since I personally think he's the best guy in the world right now.
I would 100% agree with you. Obviously, having just seen you guys 2 months ago, actually 6 weeks ago in person, Harry is number one. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Right now, he's the top dog. I mean, of course, depending on the events, but he's very impressive and very well-rounded. So, but hey, let's jump into some King Kong training. I think you guys in Finland have been working on the events for quite some time now. So, why don't we do a recap real quick of last year's events? The top 5 people, and I have the result sheet printed out here, was Alexei Tugalov, number 1. Your sometimes training partner, Joni Mahonen, was number 2. Igor Kapinski, I think he's from the Ukraine. Is that right? Is he from Ukraine?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was number 3. Tanner Merkel from Texas, 4. And Jed Johnson from Pennsylvania was 5. So that was our top 5. You got 14th last year, and I was injured and didn't get to compete. So any comments about last year's competition?
Well, last year was insane, but I think this year it's going to be even harder to predict who is going to win. Personally, I was underperforming last year. Well, no excuses, but I thought I would do so much better, at least on the flask. I only did 42 kilos, which is a really low number for me.
Well, I'm sure you'll change that number this year. Yes, yeah, I'm pretty sure, having seen some of your training footage, you'll open with heavier than 42 kilos. But I agree with you. The absolute performance overall by the group was insane, but I think that's nothing compared to this year. And of course, you and I both know some guys in training hold back a little bit, and they'll have better results in the contest, and some guys, unfortunately, will do better in the practice than they will in the actual contest. So that makes it more tricky to predict the both the events and the overall. But let's jump in. So the first event is the one-hand flask. I happen to have that right here for viewers at home not familiar with it. Made by Barrel Strain Systems, the flask. There it is. So it's a pinch device. You have to lift it 7.5 inches. So I think you guys over in Finland are going to do real well on this one. So Jesse, give me some predictions. Who do you think is going to be top dog in the flask?
Well, I think Carl is going to win. I've only seen him lift the two-handed version of the lift, but he did 250 pounds or something like that.
A little more. I think 254.
Yeah, so I'm predicting he'll be lifting 122 pounds on the flask one-handed. Well, it's just one lift I've seen from him, but that's my guess.
Well, I trained with him about 2 weeks ago, and I will say he's in top condition. So, yeah, I had a little sleepover at Carl's house. He lives about 4 hours away from me. We had a very nice training session. He's in very, very good condition. So I think he's very good at it. And I think between you, Arto, Joni, and Harry, of course, you guys are going to have some fantastic results. And I think Jed and Lucas Raymond will also have very good results. And then also, let's not discount Mr. Alexei himself, Alexei Tugalov, our winner from last year. You know, he hasn't been posting a lot of event footage. He did talk to me this morning, actually, on the Facebook Messenger, and he said he definitely will be participating in the Moscow venue this year.
Nice.
So it's on his radar for sure.
And don't forget Yoni and Dan Fleming. Dan has done like...
That's true, Dan Fleming.
Oh, yeah, he has done over 50 kilos. So he has done something like 112 pounds.
That's a huge lift. Very big.
And he's like 75 kilos or...
Yeah, he's quite light, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, no, he's very good at the flask. He's very good at it. And yeah, it's definitely, I would imagine, his favorite grip lift of all the grip events. So he's very, very good. Yeah, let's see who else is from last year on the list. Ivan Popchenko, I think he may be injured. I received a message from him. He may have injured something in his hand doing silver bullets. So he may not be participating. And he was 9th last year. Yeah. So he may not be participating. And let me ask you about this guy, Henri Soninen from Finland. Now, he was not at the Bonehill Grip Contest. Is he still actively competing, or is he not competing in this year?
No, he doesn't actually train at all. So all he does is compete and lift over 110 on the flask. So I don't know if he's competing. Maybe.
Doesn't actually train, huh?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Great. That makes me feel just fine. Seeing that I train 8 million times per week. Yeah, see that. Thank you for raising my self-esteem with that little nugget of information. How big of a guy is he? Since I didn't get a chance to meet him in person, is he a big dude?
He's like 6'2" and weighs around 320 or something like that.
That would go in the big dude category. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So who knows? Maybe he wasn't at Bonehill because he was at some type of. Maybe he was eating some of that pickled fish that I had for breakfast in Finland. Maybe he was busy investigating that stuff. I actually quite liked the one with the yellow mustard sauce. I thought that was fantastic, by the way. But let's move on. Anyone else? Yeah, and I think the other thing we need to talk about too is as arm lifting / grip is expanding, there may be some other dark horse competitors that we don't know about that are absolute monsters, X factors, so to speak. What's your thought on that since the sport has expanded so much this year?
Well, have you seen the Austria venue? It's going to be huge, like really? 25 lifters or something like that.
That's great. No, I didn't know. Is that being run by Circo?
Yeah, there's going to be like top strong women and men lifting there. So there could be some like new people coming and lifting over 110 on the flask. Who knows?
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. And hey, let's not discount another gentle giant, so to speak, from Finland, Tommy Tuomi. I mean, I don't know what his training has been like, but he's very impressive. A big man, very strong, and fairly well-rounded. What's your thoughts on Tommy? Have you trained with him at all since the Bonehill contest?
I actually talked to him yesterday. Mm-hmm. He's been training quite a lot for the crusher, but I don't think he even owns the flask. So,
well, that makes his lift of almost 100 pounds last year quite impressive if he doesn't even own one. That's pretty good.
He's going to lift around 100 pounds, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and how about let's look at some of the lightweights. You know, one of the guys that impressed me the most when I was over there in Finland in August was Nico. How's Nico's training been? Have you talked to him at all? He's very impressive. I mean, and I don't want to be sarcastic, but he doesn't look like the typical American gym goer that's got big arms and muscular and big legs. But that dude is very strong. He's very, very strong.
Yeah, he's going to be super impressive on Moontop and I think on the flask as well. So I think on the flask he'll be pulling around 92 to 95 pounds, I think. which is pretty good for someone who weighs like 170.
I was going to say definitely under 200 pounds for sure. Yeah, he's very impressive. Yeah. Yeah, no, he's super good. So that's fantastic. All right, well, you want to move on to the next event, the 2.5-inch crusher? Let me, in fact, I have it right here. Let me go grab it real quick.
Yeah, I just want to say, even though there's so many guys that can pull over 110, I think there's only going to be like 4 to 5 guys who actually do it.
Over 50 kilos, that is. You think 4 to 5 in the contest?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Last year, there were only 2 guys over 50 kilos. And then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10th place was right around 100 pounds, 45.10. What do you think will take 10th place this year? Maybe 103 to 105, something like that?
Yes, something like that. But it's so hard to predict.
Of course it is. But that's what makes it fun. That's why we're on the phone, separated by 6,000 miles or however many thousand miles it is. So I agree, it is fun to predict. Hey, for the viewers at home who don't know, this is the 2.5-inch crusher. You can see it compared to my hand. It's quite a large device. I'm not exactly tiny, and you can see the hand. My hand does not even come close to wrapping all the way around this thing. This is a very heavy device. It's a one-handed lift of 6 inches or 15 centimeters. So this is one where I think we're going to really see some fireworks in this one. So just for the viewers at home to realize, that thing rotates. It takes an immense amount of arm and wrist and finger strength to hang on to that sucker and pick it up with one hand. Last year, the record by Alexei was 105.68 kilos. So you're looking at about 233 pounds, more or less. Jesse, your thoughts on the 2.5-inch crusher?
Well, again, I haven't seen Carl lift, but I'm predicting he'll be lifting 235 pounds and beating Alexei by a kilo or something like that. But then you have to look at Igor. I think he's been training a lot for the Millennium dumbbell lift.
Yes, he's definitely put up some impressive attempts on those huge, thick-handled dumbbell. And for those people who don't know what it is, Millennium dumbbells, a super thick globe dumbbell, 228 pounds. I'm not exactly sure the dimensions of the handle, but around 2.5 inches. And it's an absolute beast to move, to even move, even to break off the ground.
So the event may even go for Igor this year.
Of course, he's in unbelievable form on lifting that dumbbell, and the rotation forces of those globe dumbbells, as you're aware, really works the forearm, bicep, wrist to a high degree.
But I'm pretty sure the top 3 is going to be Carl, Tank, and Igor.
I would agree. Now, obviously, the X factor in this one is our skinny American friend with ET-like hands, Tanner Merkel. This kid weighs 185 pounds, and he's got ginormous hands and ginormous strength to be able to pick up well in excess of his body weight on this thing. Is extremely impressive. I hope I'll be excited when I finally get to meet the guy in person at the Arnold Classic, because he's obviously got 4th last year. He's one of the very top lifters on the planet. Your thoughts on Tanner, Jesse?
Yeah, well, I was about to say that 4th is for sure going to be Tanner. I don't think anyone else is going to be able to touch the top 4 on this event.
I would agree. I think the outside shots would be Mr. Wide Pinch himself, Thomas Larson. I know he's already done 98 kilos, but to get into the 103, another 5 kilos, that's a huge jump. I mean, It sounds not much, 11 pounds, but it's on that thing, it's insane. You can train all year and not raise the result by 11 pounds. And obviously, the big man we just talked about, Tommy Tuomi, it would not shock me if he did 100 kilos on this thing.
Yeah. I think he is capable of doing 100 kilos this year, but still Tanner is like 2 kilos away.
Correct. And like I said, having trained with Carl 2 weeks ago, Carl may be in a league of his own on this one. I will tell you, he's in the best condition he's ever been in for a thick bar. So I think I think it could be ugly for some of the rest of the rest of the troops. But as you know, attempt selection is critical in King Kong, right? You want to go 4 for 4 in every event and maximize the kilos or pounds that you're putting up because and I'm pretty sure your thoughts, Jesse, maybe 250 competitors this year. What's your thoughts on the overall total number?
Yeah, I think it's going to be close to 250, especially since the Austria venue is going to be so huge.
Well, we're looking at about 20 in California, and there was no California venue last year either.
Nice.
So that could be an additional 45 people right off when you add in California and Austria. That's a lot. So it could even be closer to 300. It's hard to say. So what are your thoughts? How's your own training been going on the Crusher?
I actually haven't been able to train it that much. I have like a Crusher replica, but it's hollow, so it's totally different.
Not the same, No.
I'm pretty good on like hollow thick bars or rolling handles, but when that Crusher weighs like 5 kilos or 10 pounds or something like that, it's a totally different lift.
It is a totally different lift, and anyone who's never tried it has no idea what that feels like in the hand. Just holding the device is like a mini workout in itself, let alone slapping on 150 or 200 pounds on the loading pin. Yeah, I'm in my best shape ever on that one. So I'm, especially for my weight class, I'm looking to make a good mark on that one.
But last year I did like 85 kilos, so
86.30.
Oh yeah, well 86. But hopefully I can do close to 90 or even more this year. So
that would be a huge result because there's a bunch of people between 85 and 87 kilos. That would be huge for you.
So 200 pounds is my goal.
Yeah. My goal is 190. Between 185 and 190 is my goal, which I think at a body weight of 227 or whatever I'll be that day. That's not bad. It could be top 20. We'll have to see. But it's a great lift. I really enjoy this one. I think it's a very, very good lift to train with. So, hey, let's move on to a new one. I happen to have it right here. This is the Moon Top. So it's a circular hub-like, a circular hub-like device that you have to pick up with one hand. Very tricky, and you have to lift it 13 inches. So I'm going to be quiet about it right now since you're the top dog in the world right now on this one. And why don't you tell us a little bit more about it, Jesse?
So this year, I think the winner will be lifting 60 pounds. It's most likely going to be either me or Harry, since I haven't seen anyone lift over 24 kilos on that thing. And I've lifted 58 pounds on Moontop, and Harry has lifted like 57 pounds.
It's insane. People have no idea what that feels like in the hand. So I'm not exactly a scrub of the Moontop. I'm hoping to be over 50 pounds, which is certainly a good result. So I've lifted almost 49 and hoping for that additional pound just to raise my self-esteem, even though I get beaten down by the Finns. But I'm guessing, Jesse, that Nico, Joni, Arto will also have a very good result, and maybe someone I'm leaving out on the Moontop. It's not just you and Harry at the top there.
No. We have like me and Harry at close to 60 or at 60, and then I have people over 50 pounds, which are Arto, Nico, obviously Joni, Sirko from Austria. I've seen him lift over
50. Wow.
Yeah. And then most likely you, Thomas, Gil, maybe. Gil.
He's been an X factor because he and Jed have not posted one nugget of training. So they've gone a little bit what I like to call with Clay, cryptic. They're hiding their training, a little cryptic, not really telling us that they're doing anything, but I'm sure they're killing themselves on the training for this one.
Yeah, and Joe Sullivan, he has done
46 or 47, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's been training it a lot, I think. And
Yeah.
most likely Carl, I think, is going to do over 50.
Well, Carl's not going to want to lose to me on this one. And, when you have an Olympian competitive spirit, and Carl and I are very, very good friends, but when you have that Olympic drive that he has, having competed in London in the 2012 Olympics, he doesn't like to lose at anything. So I'm sure if I pull out a 50, he'll pull out a 50.1 to try to beat me. So he's going to have to work for it. But he's been training it super hard. So that's for sure.
But I think Tank and Igor could lose a lot of points on this one, since I don't think Russians are that good on things like Moontop.
Well, we'll find out in 2 weeks, but I think you could be right. And again, Alexei, we've seen zero training footage from him, just lifting heavy, thick-handled dumbbells. That's what we've seen. And he's done some impressive snatches and some crazy things with axles and dumbbells, not necessarily King Kong specific. So of course, he's very, very strong. There's no question. So those guys, but I agree with you. Those guys could lose some ground for sure. Those guys could lose some ground. And then let me get the final implement. I have it right here. Next, we have the 2.5-inch jug, which is right here. So this is a vertical lift device. It's pretty big. Again, the 2.5 inches, the same size as the crusher. And you have to lift it up 6 inches. So this is its first time ever in a contest. So, Jesse, there's a lot of X factors here in the jug. Why don't you talk about some of the variables that we've seen people posting on the jug?
Well, actually, you just said that Jet doesn't post any of his lifts on King Kong, but he did on the jug.
I saw it was very impressive. 250 in either hand. That was very good.
Yeah, with both hands. So we could see him lifting over 270 on the jug, but the winner will be lifting over 300, I think. I still think.
Oh my gosh. 300.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Igor or Tank or Carl, because Igor is like a king of vertical powerlifting. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he did 341 last year on a 2-inch V-bar. Now, that was a thinner device and only a 2-inch lift and much less scientific. This is a bigger device with a triple the range of motion, 6 inches versus 2 inches. Yeah. But I know he's a very, very strong man and in very good condition. 300, that's insane. I was thinking about maybe 130 kilos, 286. But yes, so you think 300, huh?
Yeah. Well, I trust in Igor. He's a beast.
Wow. Well, I certainly hope we see video of that. If that happens, I want to see that lift, because that would be that's a monumental lift, because that 2.5-inch handle, I mean, and I'll show the viewers at home here, it's huge. I mean, again, my hand can't even go nearly all the way around it. So people whose hand can touch right here, they have a huge advantage on lifting that thing, just because of the surface area alone. But there's just a lot of squeezing involved. You just have to squeeze that thing super hard. So Thomas Larson is another fantastic one. Gil will be good at that for sure. I know Carl's been practicing with the jug. Alexei was fantastic last year on the V-bar as well. I think Alexei on the V-bar, let me check. I have my data here. Alexei at 150 kilos and Thomas 150, and then you beat them both with 150 and a half, Mr. Silence. So I'm sure you got second in that event last year, so I'm sure you're going to be ready as well.
Yeah, hopefully, but I haven't been able to train it too much because it strains my wrist. I don't actually train any V-bar lifts.
Yeah, well, that's even more impressive that you're able to pick up that much, because I train it all the time, and that's my worst event. That's my kryptonite. That's my worst event of the vertical lifts. Little Bighorn, not as bad because the diameter is a little smaller, but these bigger ones for me are just horrendous. It's something I need to work on so I can become even more well-rounded as a grip lifter, arm lifter. It's very important.
Then there's Joe Sullivan, who's going to lift over 260, I think.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, he's got some very strong training lifts. And what about Mr. Isalmi himself, Yoni? How's he doing on this one?
I don't think he's going to be in top 5 on this one, but it also depends for him of the day.
Mm-hmm.
There's huge differences from him. He could be lifting over 260.
Wow.
Yeah.
Weighing 200 pounds. That's an insane lift.
But at the same time, he could be lifting like 230. I've seen him done both. So.
Wow. Wow. And hey, let's not forget Lucas Raymond is a phenomenal V-bar lifter himself, right? He's very strong on the vertical lift and in the pinch lift. It wouldn't shock me to see him do close to 110 on the flask and in excess of 250 on the jug.
Yeah. There's at least 10 people who can do over 250 on the jug.
You know, another guy who's very impressive on the jug is a guy named Steve Millard. He's a masters lifter out of Colorado, 54 years old, only about 200 pounds, maybe 210. And he's extremely strong. I think in King Kong last year, 128 kilos, so over 280 on the V-bar. And so I'm pretty certain he'll do 250 or more on the flask. There's a chance he may come out and visit us in California for the event. So if he does that, that would really add to I'm sure that would push up my level and Carl's level for sure.
And then there's Arto and Harry. I think they are both capable of doing over 250.
Well, nothing Harry does surprises me. What about Tommy? I'm sure he'll be up there too.
I don't know his training numbers, but he said that he's not that good on the jug. But I mean, for him, not that good may mean like 250.
Right. Yeah, he's very modest. When we were chatting there in Lumäki at Arto's contest, he's a very the opposite of me. He's very silent, very humble, very modest. He's a monster. Yeah. He's a big, strong man. So yeah, for him, not good is only 3rd place, right? That's for him. That's not good, or 5th place.
Because last summer I was talking with Tommy and asking about his training for the King Kong. And I've been training crosser for a little bit. And then I asked, like, what's your numbers? I did 200 for 5.
Wow. That's like a lifetime goal for me. And he's reps it. Yeah. Like no problem. Yeah. Great. Yeah. He's a big, strong man. And Nico is good on V-bar too, isn't he? For a light guy.
Yeah, he did 210 on Little Bighorn last in the competition this weekend.
He did 95 kilos on Little Bighorn?
Yeah.
He did over his body weight on Little Bighorn.
Yeah.
That is insane. Over his body weight. Oh, did anyone get a video of that? Yes, we have video of that one.
We don't have a video about that because it was televised and we weren't allowed to like video it. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you guys can send me some kind of a TV link or whenever Jyrki Rantanen gets it on the Finnish channel there, and you can send me some kind of link to that. I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah.
95 kilos. That is arguably one of the top grip lifts of the year. And what was his weight category? 83 or 93?
Under 93. I think he was like 88 kilos.
88 kilos.
Yeah.
That blows me away. That's insane. That's crazy. Yeah, Nico's very good. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, see, he might be a dark horse for an invitation to the Arnold, Nico. We're still waiting on some other people to get back to us on the Arnold. Not that we want to switch gears right now, but that lift in and of itself, my gosh, Nico. So I know he's not as good as Axel, so that might be a real problem for him. But that is unbelievable. I'm blown away by that. But hey, so let's go overall now. Now we got to put our money where our mouth is. We've talked about the 4 events. Now we got to decide top 5. Who's your top 5?
Top 5? I have top 10 actually.
All right, let's hear it. I do too. Hit me. You go first. Or we can alternate. Who do you have as the first place?
Carl.
You have Carl. I have. I also have Carl in number 1. I would agree. All right, and I'll tell you what. I have Alexei number 2.
Same.
And then for me, it gets tricky because we haven't seen any footage of Gil and none of Gil, and just the vertical lift from Jed. But I'm going to go with, in third place, I'm going to go with the dark horse of Gil. I'm going to put him in third, even though we haven't seen his lifts. I think that I'm going to predict they're so good that he's not showing them, but we could be wrong. Your thoughts on third?
Igor, because I like this year, V-bar, crusher, he was really good on those last year. So
no, that's a great call. I have Igor in 4th and Tanner in 5th. So who's your 4th and 5th?
I have Tanner 4th and then Harry 5th.
Harry 5th. I have Harry 6th right now, but it wouldn't even surprise me if Harry gets 3rd. It's all variable on the moon top because we haven't seen the results of Alexei and Igor on the moon top. And if they only get 20 kilos on the moon top, they will plummet fast in the rankings. And we already know Harry is going to be very good. Gil's a good hub lifter, so I'm sure he'll do fine on the moon top. Maybe super fine. Maybe he'll lift in the 50s. Not posting any footage wouldn't shock me at all. But and Tanner's been in the high 40s, I think 48. But Igor and Alexei, that's the trick. I don't know where they are. So
then 6th, I have Arto. Like I said, he's capable of like 115 flask, over 200 pounds on the crusher easily, over 50 pounds on moontop, and over 250 on that jog.
Yeah, so if he puts it all together, Arto could even be in top 5 if he puts it all together in one contest. And now here's the weird thing, and I think the viewers at home may find this interesting. There are so many lifters in Finland that you guys are going to have 2 venues, even though you're arguably one of the smallest countries participating. You'll be with Joni at Isalmi, and Arto will be with Harry. And what city will that be in? Vantaa?
Helsinki. Yeah, Vantaa.
And Vantaa, right there at Levi's gym?
Yeah.
So how many lifters total, male and female, from Finland will be participating? 20, 30?
20, I think.
20.
Yeah, it could be more. I don't know the numbers of Helsinki venue yet.
Where will Nico go? Will he go with you guys or will he go with Harry?
With us. He lives at the Iisalmi, so that's the secret for his moontop and stuff like that.
Too bad I didn't take a field trip to Isalmi for this one. Maybe another time, but I'm busy hosting the one in San Diego myself, so I can't be in 2 places at once. Hey, so let's continue. In 7th, I have Arto, and then in 8th, I have you. Look at that.
Nice.
And then Thomas in 9th and Jed Johnson in 10th. That rounds out my top 10.
I actually have 7th, Jed. At first, I was thinking he didn't have the time to train for King Kong because he's like the big new gym and stuff like that. But after seeing him lift the 25 kilo plates double,
right,
yeah, and inch dumbbell clean,
yeah.
So
his crusher, in theory, and flask will be at all-time levels for sure.
Yeah,
I would agree.
So Chet 7th, me 8th, then Jill 9th, and Thomas 10th. I feel like I left out Luke from top 10, but he's like super good. He could be in top 10.
Yeah, of course he could be in the top 10. And I think, he definitely could be in the top 10. In looking at last year's top 10, we also eliminated Tommy Tuomi, who was 6th. And it would not shock me if he's in the top 10, of course, because he's a giant. and your boy Henry, who doesn't train, who he was 10th last year. And then we left out one of the best arm lifters in North America, Eric Racine, one of my very good friends. He got 11th, and Luke got 12th last year. So those guys could be in there. Steve Millard was 15th. Who knows? It all depends, as you know, it all depends how you put it all together on the day. And missing attempts in this contest is very bad, because then you just leave all kinds of kilos and people just jump up ahead of you.
Yeah.
So, and they're very well, besides Carl, there very well could be some dark horses we don't know about. You know, another guy who got 16th last year that's been training his grip a lot is Joel Dirks. That guy is very
strong. Yeah, he's going to do
hub lifting with the plates, and he's very good on thick-handled stuff. So I haven't seen any videos of Jug from him. I know he's going to compete. So let's see. The other people in the top 20 that we didn't talk about are Ivan Popchenko. I think he's injured, like I said. David Thornton from the America, and Tim Fox. I don't know tons about those guys. And then Nico was 20th. And I know someone else who's interested in making the top 20, and that would be me. So I was 18th 2 years ago, and I was injured last year. So, and for sure, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. So I would hope I can get into the top 20, maybe a little higher. We'll see.
And Joe Sullivan is going to make top 20, I think.
I would think so.
I'm not sure what his flask is right now, but he's doing so well on, at least on Moontop, the jog, and most likely on crusher, since he has lifted in stumble.
Right, of course. Another one who's a bit of a dark horse is the giant Canadian Justin Major. Now, I know from talking to Eric, he's in the World Arm Wrestling Championships in Turkey right now. Literally, right now, he's over there in Turkey at the World Arm Wrestling Championships. So hopefully he comes back safe and not injured and is able to compete, because he's a giant guy with huge hands who's very talented. Very young man, too. I think he's even younger than you. I think he's only like 22.
Okay.
So, are you familiar with him at all or no?
Yeah, I've seen him like competing cross Canada competition, which he won, I think.
Yeah. No, he's very good. Yeah. No, that's pretty much what I have here. It's a shame we don't have more detailed information on some of our more secretive competitors, but that's part of the fun of this contest, I think. You just got to try your best and then see where it lands.
I can't wait to see the results, at least.
Well, we'll have to get together shortly after the results are published, and maybe we can have a little breakdown show about our own personal contests, and then also chatting about the results. Is that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, sure. I also hope that like people record the venues so we can see some huge lifts.
Well, I agree. In fact, I'm going to put something on the grip board. Maybe I'll do it today about that exact topic, and maybe you can chime in as well, because I fully agree. There's always going to be someone with a cell phone that can record the thing. Yeah. And I want to see these guys, especially the ones I'm not familiar with, like Igor. I want to see what crazy stuff you guys lift in Isalmi, and what Harry and Arto lift in Vanta. I want to see it all, because not only am I a fan, but I'm also a student of the sport. And in order to improve, I want to watch what the very best guys are doing so that I can improve. Also, I'm also going to make one more comment here on the women's side, Jesse. I think our women's participation may double this year. I feel like there's going to be so many women competing, and I feel like that's really exciting for the growth of the sport on the female side. I know in arm lifting in the United States, it's really, really growing quickly. Any thoughts on Finland and arm lifting / grip?
I think Mervi is going to do really well, at least. I'm not sure who else is competing from Finland, but Mervi is so good. Like, too bad Pekka isn't competing, actually. Rebecca from UK, because she is competing at Europe's Strongest Women.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she's registered. I know England has a venue, but I'm not sure if she's attending that one. Yeah. You saw her yesterday at that contest, right? Yeah,
she said they are not competing this year.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's
Yeah.
unfortunate. And she told me she hasn't made up her mind if financially she's going to be able to attend the Arnold. Of course, we invited her,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if she's able to attend yet. So time will tell on that one.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, look, I know it's getting ready for bedtime for you. I don't want to keep you for forever. We could talk about this stuff for hours and hours, but our viewers probably would move on and do something else. But Jesse, I really want to thank you for taking the time to stop and talk with me about the King Kong prediction show. I definitely want to have a post King Kong show, and then maybe as we lead up to the Arnold, we'll have you on some more times to talk about training for the Arnold Classic.
Yeah. Thanks. It was great talking about grip. I always enjoy it.